there. All right, there it is. So 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mayor Shane, welcome back to Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. I see some artwork there over your left shoulder. What do we got there? We got an airplane. We've got an airplane shooting down a balloon, right?
Yeah, big cow balloon. No, somebody gave that to me. I'm not sure. I found it on my desk one day, and it's red skies at night are flies delight. Red skies at morning flies take warning.
Oh,
Flyers take warning.
I thought maybe you were in the F-16 taking a picture as they were shooting down a balloon.
No, I'm not much of a flyer.
It's a great picture.
It's a great picture.
It is
I'm
a great
not much
picture.
of a flyer, though.
Okay. So no balloons. No balloons, though.
No balloons.
Sure.
No balloons.
Okay, just checking. Just checking. We've been going a little crazy with that here.
The skies over Rapids are pretty clear right now.
They are very clear. The airport at Rapids open for business and all that good stuff because, well, it's going to be picking up here pretty soon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're gonna have golfers coming in as soon as those fairways are manicured down in the town of Rome. You're gonna have people flying in for USGA Senior Open coming up in Stevens Point this summer. I'm sure you're probably talking a big summer for business at the Rapids International Airport.
It's going to be busy. Everything in town is going to be busy. We've already been warned, or not warned, but told about how busy we're going to be. Our hotels, motels, and any Airbnbs and anything. They will be quite busy.
So, just out of curiosity, then, are there any hotel rooms available in Wisconsin Rapids for 4th of July weekend right now?
I don't know. I haven't called and asked.
You haven't called and asked yet?
No.
Well, obviously, you don't need one because you'll just be able to drive on over to Point if you want to take in any of the golf action or things like that. But I'm sure Mayor Mike Wiese has been having discussions about this on a weekly basis. He says there hasn't been a week that goes by where we haven't discussed ambulance routes, traffic plans, what happens when there is an accident on I-39, how are we going to route traffic that way? Have you been involved in any of those discussions, or are you just waiting back to reap the financial benefit?
We have not been part of those, nor would I probably expect us to be part of those, but the overflow is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty heavy over this way.
Yeah, indeed. So your message to anybody coming into town then this summer is going to be Wisconsin Rapids is open for business. Just be a little patient with us, please.
Yeah, as with anywhere, you get a large amount of people, things do slow down.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. But yeah, I'll look forward to seeing where this ends up going, because again, it's something that even I'm looking forward to having a sporting event of this caliber here in central Wisconsin. Of course, more in your purview for the city of Wisconsin Rapids. It just dawned on me that you're probably one of the only communities in the area that hasn't found a use for your Shopco building yet. Obviously, we've got a storage facility here in Wausau. The one in Rothschild is now a VA clinic. We've got some development in Plover. What do you got going on with your Shopco building? Because I'm sure you'd like to get that back on the tax roll here sooner.
So it's been sold to a developer, Tom Richards out of Arizona, and he came to our plan commission, and they are going to divide our Shopco into 4 spaces. And so he's close to having signed leases for those spaces, and also they created 3 outlots. And so it sounds like there are going to be 2 businesses in those 3 outlots, and they're going to save that extra outlot for snow and other winter type activities, trying to pile up snow there. But yeah, it sounds like they're moving forward, and hopefully this year all those spaces will be open. It'll offer some, I don't know specifics. I kind of know, but it should offer some different options for our residents in Rapids to be able to take in shopping.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question is what specifically are you looking to fill this space with? Do you want some
Retail.
kind of chain or do you want it to be something uniquely local to Wisconsin Rapids?
They definitely not uniquely local. He's a developer. He's found interested parties in coming to Rapids, and so they'll be, I think, nationally known type of businesses.
Sure. So, but you can't tell us names just yet.
Not until I think we have signed leases, and I think that's his joy. He gets to probably announce what he's bringing to Rapids.
So you mentioned this developer is not exactly local. Did he just throw a dart at the map and land on Wisconsin Rapids, or how does something like this come to be?
Him and his partners just kind of look for these opportunities, and they kind of look at the area and feel if they can fill it within their business model. And so they buy also vacant land, buildings, and just Rapids happen to be on their list. And we're going to hopefully, I'm sure we're going to see the benefits of it. He's
Yeah,
very
indeed.
excited about Rapids. And one thing he told me, being from Arizona, he's impressed with how friendly the people are. Obviously Midwesterns, but
Absolutely, and I'm sure he would probably wouldn't mind a few rounds of golf down in the town of Rome at Sand Valley as well,
I did
right?
not ask him if he was a golfer.
Okay, well, hey, there's
But there's
another
plenty of
selling
options
point.
around here.
Yeah, there's another selling point right there. Definitely one of the underrated golf resorts in the area. Definitely not something that would be first on your list, I would say. Next thing we wanted to ask you about was transportation infrastructure. Obviously, we've talked in the past, both in this format and in other formats, about the need for something like that in Wisconsin Rapids. You have had some meetings regarding 8th Street, one of your main thoroughfares in Rapids. What can you tell us about progress there?
So for East Street, we have a commitment out of the state for at least like 2026, 2028. They're going to redo from probably like 2 Mile Avenue, where our first star, or I think, yeah, it's first, our bank is, and the Woodside School, they're to the south towards Nepco Lake. They're going to do that section. And then we're reviewing documents we received, and our Public Works Committee approved us, in support of those documents for everything to the north then. And so A Street should all be redone hopefully by 2030. And then we're up now the push is to push it up ahead and get that done on the schedule much sooner. So we're working pretty hard at that. And but we know we kind of have a for sure time period where it's going to happen, and we'll be looking forward to kind of getting that going.
Yeah, and again, you've mentioned it. This is something that has been on your priority list. It's something that you've not stopped short of, but lightly called the state out on before, saying we'd expect some better cooperation here. So you feel like you're getting that right now, and it's just a matter of seeing, hey, can we maybe bump this up a year or two, especially if the state's financial situation continues on the same path that it is, with Governor Evers suggesting that shared revenue could be tied directly to the state's economy through spending.
Yeah, and it's been a push. It's been a push since day one. We all know that live here and drive on that road that it's long overdue for needing repairs and replacement, not even repairs, because it's been long over repaired, and now we're repairing repairs. And so it's time to get this road redone. And but yeah, so working with our county board chairman, he's been assisting with his connections at the state. I've been calling the governor's office, our local representatives, Scott Krug and Senator Teston. They have been supportive and working their angles throughout the state also. And so it's been a multi-pronged approach, and I think it's hopefully the community will see that benefit here in the next. It's obviously, to design a road like that, it's going to take time, but I'm more comfortable with 2 years versus 7 years. And,
yeah, no doubt about that. And I know a lot of people would certainly feel the same way, but at least as small as it may be, there is a light somewhere there in the not too distant future. One other thing that you're looking at is the rail crossings in town. Obviously, there's a lot of them, especially for a real blue collar city like Wisconsin Rapids, built on manufacturing. You got to get those goods somewhere.
Yeah.
You're coming to the end of your study on rail crossings in the city. What have you learned, and what would the residents like to see as far as that goes?
So our study has been posted on our city's website, so anybody can go out there and read it. It's about 79 pages, a lot of complex engineering in there. However, we've done rail studies before, and people have complained that we're just doing another study. I think this rail study has been much more comprehensive than any study that's been done before. Ryan Austin, one of our alderperson, has kind of leading the charge on this, being that his district has a lot of rail in it, so he gets a lot of the complaints. So he's kind of been championing it, and him and I have spoken, and I've long been supportive of looking at alternatives, because I know many times throughout the day, throughout the week, our intersections are getting choked by rail, and we just have no options because everything's at grade crossing. And so with that study out there, it lays out a lot of different options, many different suggestions, and I think it's time for people to kind of read it, digest it, reread it, and then we're going to have a conversation at the city council level, hopefully within the next few weeks, and then kind of go from there. I think there's some short-term things we can do. Obviously, to make an underpass or an overpass at our main intersection on the west side here, you're talking today's dollars roughly $33 million, but at a $7 billion budget surplus, that $33 million isn't a huge number when you're considering those numbers. But it's also, at the same point, our Riverview Expressway is, in my opinion, getting to end of life also. So I think there's a greater discussion that can happen in the next few years regarding, the reconstruction of an intersection with an underpass, but some short-term things, making quiet zones and doing some other things that hopefully can improve some of the quality of life things now, and while we work on bigger things down the road.
Yeah, indeed. And so at this point, the study is out there. You want people to read it and then provide feedback to your office. Is that how this is working right now?
Or their alderperson. So right now it's just out there, just for information at this point. And then I think city council needs to have that discussion and say, okay, where do we feel comfortable with our next steps? And at some point, what kind of cost is the community willing to kind of accept to kind of address some of these trains? Because there's people that don't maybe venture over on the west side as much, and so they don't really see a railroad issue. But there are parts of the city and parts of the communities on the west side, outside the city, that are really hampered by the rail. Even though rail is very, like you said at the beginning, rail is very, very important to our economy, and without rail, a lot of our businesses, would be affected. And we continuously when we get inquiries, it's usually about, hey, what's the rail access? So rail is very important to us. We just have to learn how to maybe come in a little more harmony together.
Indeed. So do you have a timeline then on when some of these discussions would like to happen, or when you would like to see them happen, I should say?
Yes, council has already talked about having a committee of the whole meeting where it would be all the city council members involved in this meeting sometime before our March council meeting. So it'd be in March. We're going to have a discussion, and so people can watch and be able to watch online that discussion or come in person and participate.
Absolutely. One more thing before we let you go, then, of course, being a former city clerk, elections very important to you. Remind folks in Wisconsin Rapids what it is they're going to be voting on tomorrow, and where they can find more information on how to vote if they don't already.
Yeah, so obviously anybody should contact your local clerk's office for voting questions. I take voting very near and dear, and so I think it's important that if you've got a question, make sure you ask it. In Wisconsin Rapids, we have a school board primary and then the state primary for the judge. Those are the two things on our balance. But we have 5 people interested in seeking a seat for school board.
Yep, and then you are going to vote for 4 of them on that ballot, but on the state Supreme Court ballot, you will just vote for 1 of the 4 judges, correct?
And Supreme Court, you'd vote, or I'm sorry, school board, you'd vote for not more than 2.
Okay, not more than 2. That's what it is. Yes,
But I
indeed.
think
Go.
it would be the top four will go on for 2
Mhm.
seats.
Yes, indeed. And again, follow the instructions on the ballot, not what I just said there.
Always read to make sure you know what you're voting for. Otherwise, the
Indeed.
machine will beep at you.
Indeed. Yeah, the machine will beep at you.
It
Indeed.
definitely will.
Well, Mayor Shane, I certainly appreciate the time here this month. We'll look forward to chatting again next month.
Thanks, Mike. Great seeing you.